Wrestling fans are not happy that Jey Uso has lost his Intercontinental Championship just weeks after winning the belt, but do I agree? Welcome to Allison Analysis. I'm Ben Allison and I've analysed last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, and here are my 5 key findings. But before we get into them, if you could like and comment, that would be massively appreciated. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 7 to 10 free videos per week for you guys, and all we ask is that you like and subscribe because it massively does help us out. And in addition to those 7 to 10 videos, we also do one live podcast every single day, 8 PM UK, 3 PM Eastern, and 12 PM Pacific, where you guys can comment along live and we show your comments as well. Thank you. The opening to last night's Raw was absolutely brilliant. In my eyes, wrestling TV is at its best when it opens with a chaotic opening, especially a WWE TV show like Raw. It creates drama from the get-go and keeps fans on the edge of their seats, and that's exactly what you want to do. And that's exactly what Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins did. The seamless transitions from showing superstars backstage to Seth Rollins attacking Bronson Reed all the way to the ring and then the brawl at ringside, it was great. And this new chaotic, ruthless side we have seen to Bronson Reed in recent months has really established him as a threat on the main roster, as somebody who's kind of more than, I don't want to say a jobber, but a lower mid-card guy. Now he comes across like, hey, he's pushing into that main event scene. And considering this is kind of just a filler feud for Seth Rollins before the Punk feud, I really am surprised at how much it feels like it matters. Like, it almost feels like it's had a bit of a WrestleMania build for it, and it's just for probably a match on a B pay-per-view. Of course, angles like this can't happen every week or they wouldn't have the same effect, but when they do happen, it is brilliant, and last night it certainly worked well. And in at number 4, I'm beginning to get a little bored of the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley feud. I'm a huge fan of both of theirs, and for the longest time I was loving this storyline, but now it's dragging on a little bit. And I'm usually somebody as well who loves long-term storylines. I'm usually very patient when it comes to professional wrestling, but this is kind of testing that. I think part of the issue, or a large part of the issue, is the fact that Liv Morgan's not defending her title against anybody else during all of this. Like, let's say if Rhea Ripley was now feuding with Raquel Rodriguez, which she's doing, well, if Liv Morgan was feuding with somebody else on the side and had a big title match on the side, then maybe I wouldn't be feeling the same way. And then you could have returned to Liv versus Rhea at the Rumble or something, and it would make a lot of sense. Long-term storytelling, but still, defending the belt. Hopefully something happens really soon to really draw me back into this feud, because right now, I'm out of it. In at number 3, the White Six could be the final straw for the Final Testament. On paper, the idea for the Final Testament was great. In fact, their presentation was great too. But in execution, they've lost nearly every single match, and they have lost every single feud they've been in. And because of this, they just haven't connected with the crowd at all. The crowd doesn't cheer them, the crowd doesn't boo them. There's just pretty much silence because, truthfully, the crowd just doesn't care about them. So I think we are at a point where this White Six feud will be the make or break moment for them. Of course, it's incredibly likely they are going to lose this feud as well. But if this feud is entertaining, if this feud can get them over, if it can get them a reaction, then if they win their next few feuds, well, I think they can bounce back. But if they're not entertaining during this feud, I think they're as good as done. I do think it's a difficult task, but I do think it's possible because there's a lot of talent in that faction. There's a lot of talent in the Wyatt Six. And I do think this feud, especially with the possible vignettes they can do, has a lot of potential if it's done well and given time. In at number 2, I'd love to see Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee as the next World Tag Team Champions. The reality is Rey Mysterio has very little, if any, gold left in his WWE career, but I would really like to see him have one tag team title reign with Dragon Lee. I first saw Dragon Lee in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and from the second I saw him, I knew he had world-class potential. But since arriving to the main roster, he's kind of gotten nowhere near that. His run hasn't been bad, don't get me wrong, but it's just not been good either. It's just been nothing. Winning the Tag Team Championship with Rey Mysterio would boost his stock massively and really establish him as a star. In fact, it could mark a passing of the torch from Rey Mysterio to Dragon Lee as the next big masked man in WWE. And at this point, if I'm being truthful, I do think we should get these tag titles off Finn Balor and JD. I like them, but truthfully, since finding out they're Tottenham fans, it's kind of soured me on them. I don't really care for them as much now. They defend their titles once every century. Yeah, just give it to Rey and Dragon Lee. And in at number 1, fans aren't happy that Jey Uso has lost the Intercontinental Championship, but they aren't meant to be. Fans online are absolutely furious at WWE right now. Their Instagram comments are flooded with hate comments, but this is the reaction that they wanted. We are supposed to be frustrated with the Bloodline for costing Jey. We are supposed to be frustrated with Braun Breaker just happily winning it, taking an advantage of the situation. So unless your reaction is, I'm going to stop watching WWE, then WWE have gotten the exact reaction they want from you. You are annoyed, but you will keep watching. So because of this, when Jey teams with Jimmy and Reigns, you'll be rooting for them against the Bloodline. You'll be excited for War Games. And you'll boo Braun Breaker more as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending all of this because I still don't understand this 50-50 Braun Breaker booking that he's been getting since coming to the main roster. It makes no sense. I don't get it. But that's a 100 times bigger problem to me than Jey Uso losing the belt. Sure, it sucks for him, it truly does, but let's face it, he's going to continue being main event Jey Uso. He's going to have a big Usos reunion. It's going to be really fun. And he's established himself as a single star now, so long term, if Jimmy ever gets hurt or they split up again, he's going to be completely fine. So all in all, everything's fine, and WWE have gotten the exact reaction which they wanted. But that's all the analysis for this week's WWE Raw. If you did enjoy, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Thursday to analyze AEW Dynamite. I'll see you guys then. Peace.